everybody. We are live again at TPS. I think that's my line. I've been saying it all day, the last couple of days. We've had a great time. But this is a very special guest from John Crane. Just go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I'm Claire Weatheritt. I'm the operations manager for John Crane Asset Management Solutions in North America. And
So tell me a little bit about kind of what you do there in your role.
So mostly what we're doing in the US is to do with condition monitoring, vibration analysis, and giving maintenance advice to our customers. But we have a wider service offering where we can do maintenance strategy, criticality analysis, spares analysis, and that's useful to our customers because it supports the reliability story on a site. So.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think it's really neat to just all the women that I've gotten to meet here while I've been at the TPS. We had the women's panel today. How have you seen kind of the promotion with John Crane about bringing women into the industry? How has that helped you in your career?
I think it's always very difficult, particularly engineering companies, because we're recruiting from a very small pool of people. But I think it's extremely useful for any organization to make the most of all the talent that it has. And I think John Crane are really making strides in that direction. So we've got mentorship programs now within all the Smiths groups. The Smiths group own John Crane, so you can have a mentor from Smiths Medical or Smiths Detection or John Crane, and that's useful because it gives a spread of understanding from across our organisation. I find that really helpful, and we have our professional women's group as well, so we support each other. There's a mechanism for supporting each other. I think that's really helpful.
Thank you. And yes, I believe, it's the men and women working together and having these networks and just, having an importance of bringing, everyone to working together on the same level, right?
Yes.
And so supporting each other is definitely part of that. What, I guess, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the industry?
I was just telling Annie, actually, I think I've always been an engineer. My earliest memory was trying to work out how they built bridges and studying what was happening when I was 3 years old. So I've always wanted to be creating. It's very creative being an engineer. So I wanted to be an inventor, that's what I thought. And then I eventually worked out that is actually an engineer. So that.
Yes.
So I studied at Strathclyde University in Glasgow. I'm from Scotland, and then got into the oil and gas industry in the North Sea. So I was a North Sea Tiger.
Yeah.
And I did that for a number of years. Always working with vibration, machinery diagnostics, and providing maintenance advice. And we were bought, the consultancy I worked for were bought by John Crane about 3.5 years ago. And that's been a great experience for me. And I've had this opportunity to come over to the US and start rolling out our services over here.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's fun to talk about rotating equipment. I love that coming from, what we traditionally think of John Crane as a steel company, but there is so much more to John Crane, and you definitely showcase that. And we're looking to, just, I guess, learn more about you and your products and just kind of how your role there plays into kind of getting that information out to the end user so that they can have a more reliable system, right?
Yes. So we try to take a broad look at the processes that happen. So although often when we're thinking about monitoring equipment, we're just thinking about taking maybe vibration data or lubrication samples. We're not necessarily there is not generally a focus on how that actually feeds into maintenance. And for John Crane and the reliability of John Crane's products, machines want to be running at their best condition, be set up right, be well maintained, have all the good basic care like lubrication and such like. So when you have a condition monitoring program, it allows you to pick up on when these things are maybe not quite right so they can be remedied and really give value to the customer. But that breaks down if a lot of the softer issues are not dealt with. So the communications strategy, or are we measuring performance of the program? And if we're not measuring performance of the program, sometimes things are happening that we don't really realize, or they're not happening when we think they are. So, so we try and address all these soft issues, such as the roles and responsibilities in the maintenance program.
Right, so, that culture change, right?
Yes.
It's definitely a challenge to make sure that when we are implementing these systems, that everybody in the company is actually on board with that.
Yes.
So
yes.
That is a challenge, right?
And getting that buy-in from the top, you really need the buy-in from the top. So you need to be able to demonstrate you're getting that return on investment. Condition monitoring is a cost, but condition-based maintenance tremendously valuable. So you really need to make sure you're following through, demonstrating it, so you get that buy-in from the top and get everybody engaged in that. It's never going to work if it's just a few people collecting data and producing reports.
Yes.
So.
Well, I thank you. I know kind of one of the things I knew I wanted to talk to you about was our Empowering Women Conference coming up, and we have John Crane is one of the sponsors there because of all of the work they've been doing in career development, and so the women's group there supporting it, which we're really thankful for that. But just, what do you see as something that we could do just in general for recruiting a very diverse workforce?
I think it's very important to get children engaged early. So I've given talks to primary school, elementary school children, and it's just wonderful, just because engineering isn't something, unless they've got an engineer in the family, they don't think of it. I used to lead the Girl Guides in the village that I lived in Scotland as well, and they all would say, oh, well, I would like to do something creative. And I'm like, well, engineering is the most creative thing you could possibly do. And so you kind of want to share that message early. So I think by the time kids are 9 years old, they're already forming ideas about who they're going to be when they're older. And I think we need to get them engaged in order that they're making decisions in those secondary school years or high school years
that we know
that are going to lead to, or at least keep their options open. I think that would be the best thing that we could be doing. But role models are always going to be important as well.
Yes, well, we're thanking you for being a role model today. And I know my daughter, she's 9, and if she watches this, hey Carly, but she would love that story. So she's looking for how to be creative. She's that creative mind.
Yes.
To tell her that engineering is actually creative, that's something they need to hear at that age. So thanks for what you're doing and bringing that to schools. Is there anything else that you kind of have on your mind that you wanted to talk about?
I think a lot of the things that really lead to women being successful in their businesses that they're working in are the things that lead to all talented people being successful. And I think it's really important for organizations to think about their talent management programs and making sure that people are set the right objectives and they're recognized when they're achieving them. I think that it's not just women that we need in a diverse workforce. We need all kinds of people. But whatever benefits women should be benefiting other people as well, and I think that's very important. And having these diverse workforces it's just where creativity comes from, to be honest. Different ideas, different perspectives. I think that leads us to be more successful and challenge each other in driving innovation and new ideas take us and our organizations to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
And I just appreciate you and what you're doing and what you stand for. And thanks and I hope you have a great show here at TPS.
Thank you. Thank you very much.